All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into Chapter 3 of Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages to really get a handle on that powerful and, let's be honest, often misunderstood experience of falling in love. We all know that feeling, right? That incredible, tingly, butterflies in your stomach, can't eat, can't sleep sensation. But what happens when that initial euphoric spark starts to fizzle out in a long-term relationship? Is that it? Is it the end? Or is it maybe the beginning of something else entirely?
So first things first, let's talk about the feeling itself, that all-consuming, head-over-heels euphoria. It's an experience that feels absolutely amazing, but as we're about to see, it can also be a little bit deceptive.
Chapman calls this a state of euphoric obsession. And you know what he means, right? It's when just being together feels like actual heaven, and holding hands feels like your blood is literally flowing together. It is so intense, so all-encompassing, and it feels like there's no way it could ever end.
Now, this is where a really powerful illusion kicks in. When you're in that state, the person you're with seems flawless, absolutely perfect. Your friends, your family, they might be pointing out some pretty serious red flags, but you just don't see them. You're completely convinced that your love is different, that you're going to breeze through life without any of those silly arguments other couples have.
The book gives this perfect example with the story of Janice. Get this, after just 3 weeks of dating David, she was head over heels. To her, the fact that he'd been married twice before and had a pretty complicated past, that was nothing. It was totally trivial. She wasn't just happy, she was absolutely certain he was the one. She was, in a word, in love.
So, if this feeling is so incredibly powerful, you'd think it would last forever, right? Well, that brings us to our next big idea, the expiration date.
You know, we're sold this idea from movies, from music, that if you're truly in love, that feeling will last a lifetime. But the reality is, that intense, obsessive phase has a shelf life. Psychological research actually shows that, by its very design, this feeling is temporary.
Chapman actually puts a number on it. He points to the work of psychologist Dr. Dorothy Tenov, whose research found that the average lifespan of this romantic obsession is about 2 years. 2! After that, we all kind of float down from the clouds and plant our feet firmly back on Earth.
And when we land, well, we land in the real world of marriage and relationships. All of a sudden, those little quirks you never noticed before, they become genuinely annoying. Hairs start appearing in the sink, you have actual arguments over which way the toilet paper should hang, and sometimes your intimate lover can feel a bit more like an intimate enemy. This moment, this disillusionment, it becomes a massive crossroads for a couple. You basically have two choices. You can either split up and go chase that initial high with someone new, or you can decide to roll up your sleeves and start doing the real work of building a lasting love. Only this time, you're doing it without the fuel of obsession.
This whole predictable cycle, the high and then the return to reality, it leads to a pretty radical question. What if that in-love experience isn't actually love at all? Let's explore this idea that it might just be a powerful instinct. Chapman brings in another expert here, a psychiatrist named Dr. M. Scott Peck. And he presents this really compelling case that what we call falling in love isn't genuine love at all, and that maybe we should think of it as something else entirely.
Dr. Peck boils his argument down to 3 clear points. First, he says, falling in love isn't a conscious choice. It just kind of happens to you. Second, it's effortless. You're not trying hard, you're just being driven by instinct, not discipline. And third, its real purpose isn't to help your partner grow as a person. Nope, it's really just about ending your own loneliness. We're focused on the feeling, not their personal development.
So what's his big conclusion? Ultimately, he says it's a biological trick, a temporary collapse of our personal boundaries that's designed to do one thing: get us to pair up, bond, and make sure the human species keeps going. It's a natural instinct for sure, but according to him, it isn't love. Okay, so if that tingly, obsessive feeling isn't the real deal, then what is? And if the tingles are gone, does that mean all hope is lost for a loving, long-term relationship? No, absolutely not.
And this leads us to the real heart of the chapter. Our most basic emotional need isn't just to fall in love, it's to be genuinely loved by another person, to experience a love that grows from intentional choice, not just some blind biological instinct.
Chapman offers this really clear definition, and it shifts everything. Love stops being this passive feeling that just happens to you and becomes an active, conscious effort you make for your partner's well-being. It's love as an action, love as a choice. And this right here is maybe the most important takeaway of all. The end of that initial infatuation isn't the end of love, it's the chance for its true beginning. Think about it. The nice things we do when we're obsessed, they don't count as much because we're just driven by instinct. But when we choose to be kind after that high is gone, that is real love.
So what this all shows us is that the fading of the in love feeling is totally normal, it's predictable, and it's even a necessary stage for a real relationship to begin. It's not a crisis, it's an opportunity. It moves us from the temporary high of instinct to the lasting foundation of intentional love, which of course leaves us with one final provocative question. How do we effectively choose to love? The answer, as the book goes on to explain, lies in learning to speak our partner's love language.